this season I've chosen this exact time. It's also daytime, and I feel like some people drop in after 12 around lunchtime. But
Yeah.
if anyone's already joining us, hi, thanks for joining us. Tell us where you're joining us from and what kind of a clinician you are. And I'm going to make sure that we are live on YouTube, and we are live on LinkedIn. I'm just checking in with this stream showing up and then pulling the comments across. Sorry to the listeners for me being a bit under the weather. Please bear with all my sniffles and coughs along the way. I will try to edit them out at the end of it. Okay, I can see us live on LinkedIn here on my side as well. So I think that's a cue for me to kind of take us into the introduction, and then I'm looking forward to really digging into this conversation with you today, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me back on. Take two.
Yeah, take two. So, welcome to episode 32 of the Clinician Founder podcast, where we explore the stories of doctors and healthcare professionals who've built mission driven ventures beyond the bedside. I'm your host, Dr. Shubhendu Kulshresht, an executive coach and emergency physician, and I'm proud to share that we're once again opening doors to the Clinician Founder Actionship, a structured group coaching program designed to help innovative clinicians start replacing one day of clinical income using their non clinical skills or innovations. So if you've got an early prototype, a concept, or even just an idea you want to turn into something tangible, something that lets you make medicine your side hustle, drop me a comment or comment the word side hustle below, and I will get you some more details. Right, on to today's episode, and this is a special return. We're joined once again by Dr. Marc Picot, the founder of Vape Escape, who you might remember from episode 2 early on this year. Back then, Mark was navigating fundraising maze, and today he's back with an exciting update as he prepares for his beta launch. We'll unpack what's changed in those 8 months, the highs, the lows, the pivots, and the lessons that only come from building something in the real world. Let's get right into this one. Hi again, Mark. Thanks for joining me.
No, my pleasure, Shub. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, what a coincidence. I mean, you were on for episode 2, and now it's episode 32. It's just perfect timing.
Numbers game.
Yeah, you're a busy man. Lots has happened, hasn't it?
Lots has happened. It's been a long time. So what's that? February to October. God, what? I don't even know. I want to say 9 months, and no, that's correct. So yeah. So it's been a long time. Yeah,
it's been a long time. Let's kind of get into the conversation. I'm really curious as to what's happened. I've seen you be on TV. I've seen you post regularly on LinkedIn. I've seen you get traction, some prototyping of your app. Take us through what's happened in the last 8 to 9 months. I'm curious to kind of just start digging in.
Well, we might need probably 10 hours instead of 1 if we're going to get into it all. So since February, yeah, I obviously had my website at that stage. The app was more concept than anything else. Yeah, I guess I after February decided to really put my concept into actually building prototype phase. So I outsourced to a software agency to start building my app. I got a website designer in to revamp my website because I created the first one, which looked a bit like clip art. So I thought I needed something a little bit more professional. So those were kind of the next 2 steps. So I was still kind of building my brand really. So my vape, I've gone through a few changes. So it was, I can't remember what the first one was. It's been that, no, Let's Break the Vape. Okay. Then it was Vape Free, and now it's Vape Escape. So these aren't strategic brand name changes. These are brand name changes according to trademark. So although I like the last thing the most.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. So basically when I went to look at putting in a trademark to protect my IP and my assets, I found that Let's Break the Vape was taken and in the UK. So I changed it to Vape Free, and then that was all good. Got the trademark in the UK. And then things started to move, and I started to think about the American market and the US IPO, I think they're called, Intellectual Property Office. Yeah, Vape Free was taken. So I had to switch again. So obviously, I wanted my assets are my the branding, the website, my products and services. So I wanted to protect all my IP, including the app, through something called the Madrid Protocol, where you get widespread protection. So anyway, there's a lesson to be learned. If you are looking to protect your assets, do your research first. If you want to trademark them, then look at both the UK and the US, or the Madrid Protocol in particular. Otherwise, you're going to have to change your name 3 times. All your social media handles have to change. All your branding's going to have to change, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside. So there's a lesson number 1 of what learning from my mistakes, basically. So so Vape Escape was then born, and then since then you mentioned about funding. So I've secured an angel investor.
Fantastic.
So that was through Angel Investment Network, which is a platform where basically you do a pitch and lots of investors go on and they view all pitches and see which one they like. So it's not direct outreach. It's actually the most popular one. So it's a bit saturated, but I got lucky, I think. So so my model of funding is hybrid, basically. So I've got angel investment. I've taken out a business loan, and then personal and family finances. And on top of that, for people who don't know me from the second episode, which I doubt they will, I live in Jersey. In the Channel Islands. And we have something called Digital Jersey that's run by our government. And they're all about technology and innovation. And they are currently running a 50-50 match funding campaign. So I put in for a 50-50 match of my total that I've raised, and then hopefully they're going to match it with their 50%, and it's a grant. So
fantastic.
There's no equity exchange involved. There's no interest or anything like that. It's just purely a grant. So hopefully with that amount of money, I should be good to go. Good cash runway for year 1 into launch. And then I'll be starting to generate revenue, fingers crossed. So that's that. I've had to navigate a few obstacles along the way, shall we say. The software agency that I initially outsourced to, after a couple of months, it became quite apparent that they weren't fit for the job, that they were never going to get my app to the standard that I wanted it to be. And there was lots of issues, communication issues, and not making changes, etc. So I basically pulled the project from them. If you give me 1 second. Because I knew that if I stuck with them, it would just lengthen the time until launch. I would be losing revenue while I'm waiting, and it would never get to the standard. So I got all my IP assets off of them, all the code, transferred it to a software agency that happens to be based in Jersey. We've taken over and done a really good job since. And now we are in the process of going through the reviews of the app stores. So it's been passed in Google Play Store.
Okay.
But it's unpublished, so you won't be able to find it just yet. And Apple are being typically a bit of a pain in the backside, which is normal for them, according to multiple people I've heard. In that it's toing and froing, and you get a rejection because of a tiny. Their first review is mainly on the main features: privacy, terms and conditions, safety, and all that. Well, that's been passed with ease.
Okay.
Now we're down to the, oh, hey, we've looked at your app on an iPad 4 and the text just slightly runs over the edge. So you're going to need to change the UI. Now, to put it into perspective, an iPad 4 was discontinued in around 2015. And about 5% of app users use tablets over a mobile phone.
Wow.
So of the 5% of my app users, about 0% will be using it on an iPad 4. This is the depth they go into. So you see how it's back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And you have to sign a developer license agreement. It's all tick boxy stuff, terms and conditions again. I did that 2 weeks ago. They still haven't processed it, and that's currently holding up the review as well. So, yeah, it's a patience game, very, very patient waiting game. But I want to launch the two in combination. Someone, in fact, this morning asked me, "Why don't you just launch the Google Play app?" And just get early traction, early reviews, early ratings on that. There are pros and cons about doing that, but I think the pros of waiting until you get it in both stores outweigh.
Yeah, is that kind of like the amount of effort you'd put into raise, to promote it would be the same whether you do it on one platform or both?
Yeah, so basically when you launch, you don't do well. My marketing campaign is going to be about my app. There's one exception to that, which I'll come on to. So I'm not promoting my Android app or my Apple app. It's just my app is out for launch.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to do a targeted Android app launch, which is trickier to do, because then when the Apple one comes out,
I'll do it again.
Do that. The exception to that rule would be, of course, I could run paid ads just in the Google Play Store. It splits my marketing campaign into two, and it's just not ideal. And for apps, it's like SEO, but they've got ASO, so App Store Optimization, and the stores they look at apps, and there's a number of factors that they account for to see, oh, this is looking like it's going to be a good app, let's sort of promote it and push it up. So things like download velocity, so within the first 72 hours, like how quickly are people downloading this app? If a lot of people are downloading this app, that's a strong indicator for them. So I'm going to ask everybody, including you, Shab, to download my app. Whether you vape or not, I know
you got it.
You're still downloading it. Just for that download velocity, basically. The second major one is ratings and reviews. So people leaving early ratings and reviews. So there's going to be a push notification tied in with a gamification element, like, oh, you've reached the first day of thing. How are you finding the app so far? Well, I may leave it to day 3 and do it then. So it sort of it gives them it promotes them to leave a review. So that's kind of why I'm waiting. And I've been waiting a long time, so I might as well wait another week.
That's huge progress overall. I mean, you've gone from that initial stage, and you've gone and got the professional build. You've got a professional website done. You've had those IP changes and troubles, and like a couple of rounds there. And I remember last time we were kind of talking briefly, I guess, also about crowdfunding and then the various channels of funding. And you've landed on angel investments, but then also grants. And I'm curious to dive into that a little bit more. Any top tips and things. But from the other perspective I had was, I think, did your niche also sort of change along the way in terms of like being specifically targeting adolescents? Was that something that came up?
So I target my main two demographics are never smoker vapors, because they should just, as Chris Whitty said, that if you never smoke, don't vape. But also, children and young adults. So that's sort of the 16 to 24 age group.
Yeah.
For two reasons for them. One is that, again, they should be nowhere near nicotine because of the effects of nicotine on the developing brain up to the age of 25, the impact that has on on their cognitive development, their behavioral development, academic performance, even there's evidence behind. But secondly, that age group, so 16 to 24, and then 24 to 30 are the largest users of vapes. So that's where my main market sits. So I've mainly got a sort of Gen Z branding and a Gen Z marketing approach, because that's my largest market, my D2C market, that would be.
What does that mean? What does it mean to have a Gen Z marketing approach? I can't even imagine what that's like.
So I've needed some help from people because I'm far from Gen Z. But going back to my website, so I had some help again from Digital Jersey, and she was actually Gen Z, but she was a very intelligent young lady, and her experience was in website design and UX. And we went through my website, which was the one developed by the professional developer, and she was like, there were these clouds everywhere and like animated clouds, and she was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I would get rid of those. It's a bit, it's a bit too childlike, a little bit like, yeah. So we went through my website, and then this is the redesigned version. That's a pop-up that should not appear immediately, so I need to sort that out.
Oh no, it came up a while later.
Okay, fine. Yeah. That is a good pop-up. This site that you're seeing, so I've actually developed this site myself. So through the ages, and going backwards and forwards from software developer to, can you change this, can you do that, I basically learned to do it myself in the end, with a lot of help from ChatGPT initially, but then I realized that Claude AI is actually better for coding and website issues. So if I had a problem, I would just screenshot it and paste it in, or it would tell me to look at the console. So I don't know if you can just right click on anything, Shub, and
inspect.
Inspect. Yeah, I can't see where your mouse is. I think I'm blocking it.
Oh no, it's not showing the whole inspect.
Okay, so if you click inspect, then the whole code comes up. So I'd screenshot the code. So I kind of learned to do it myself, and this website design is through a builder called Thrive Theme Builder. It's a lot more intuitive than Elementor, which is the main website builder that most people use, but it's just a bit clunky and it's a bit more difficult to use. So this is far more user intuitive. So everything is strategic on the page. So you've got the top bit when you first log into the page. So it's really important that you have something of what's called above the fold. Apologies if I'm teaching people to suck eggs here. There's not actually one on this page, but go on to one of my
this one.
Yeah. So immediately the two call to action buttons. So for individuals and then for organizations. So getting that above the fold. If you look at the colors, so they're kind of a bit neon. That's kind of what Gen Z like. So they like neon, sort of quite bold colors. A lot of white space as well. So it's just really clean, easy to read. The colors, as you can see, are just quite soft.
Talk to me about this bit. How do you get such fantastic brands to be on your website? How do you get associated with them?
So through having a good PR team. So this is one of the things I paid for, is a PR company, and I initially tried to do it myself and didn't get very far, other than the interview on This Morning, and who actually outreached to me on LinkedIn.
Oh, fantastic.
But a PR team called the Book Publicist. Big shout out to them, because they're really, really useful, really friendly, great team. And they basically pitched to various journals, and that's how I appeared on the various mainstream media, interviews, blogs, and podcasts as well. So yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I feel like I should probably get one for myself. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to reach the right people. That's pretty cool. Okay. So with all of this, I was going to save this question for the end, but let me start with this. If you were to do one thing differently, what would that have been?
We were talking about this before we went live. It was to do with my app, the software agency that was building it. So I outsourced it to a company in India, which was fairly common to do for monetary savings. Basically, it's far cheaper. But if I've had a lot of problems with them, not from just the app development perspective, but some further problems, shall I say, that I won't go into any more depth. But they weren't a particularly legitimate outfit, shall we say. Saying that, they were on a big marketplace for technology and software developers called Clutch.co. I'm giving lots of company shout outs here.
Absolutely. I don't know why this podcast isn't sponsored yet.
Yeah, geez. So they were on there. Let's just say some of their accolades may not be 100% truthful. I think the biggest
I suppose if you were to do it differently,
if I was to do it again, what would I do? I would do a lot of as I said before, DYOR, do your own research, and KYC, so to throw in a few acronyms. So I would really highly vet the company that you're going with, and ideally see if you can. There's ways of doing this, which I've done after I left the company. Speaking to previous clients, don't rely on online reviews, because they can be falsified. But speak to people who've used them in the past. It's a big commitment, both monetary and time and effort. So what would I do again? I would really, really dive deep into any software agency that I was going to outsource my app to. So that's what I would do differently. Obviously, part of it was monetary wise. If you want to go halfway in between, the cost of a UK software development agency, or the US, and say India, there's actually lots of good European agencies, especially Eastern European agencies. I would say that as a piece of advice. Definitely look into those.
Interesting.
That was what I would say. One thing I would do again. I would probably do some deeper dive, there we go, into who I was hiring to develop my baby.
And on the back of that, talk to me about like what sort of research is required for the funding side of things, because um, I suppose there's lots of people out there promising a lot of things, but not all of them are reliable either in terms of fundraising, and equally, I want to hear like what was your comparison between crowdfunding this and kind of angel funding and other sort of investments?
So initially when I first started, it was going to be crowdfunded because one of my app mentors, who's now become a friend, his wife is actually in the crowdfunding. She's actually crowdfunding. That's what she does for a job. So I was going to go down the crowdfunding route because essentially it's free money. You crowdfund, you get the money. If you hit your target goal, you that the money's yours. So it's kind of the best way, because it doesn't give away any equity, and your equity is what you want to hold on to like an absolute baby. Use that term. So however, the caveat to that is that it's not guaranteed. If you don't hit your goal, you don't get any money at all.
Oh, okay.
So if you're £100 short, you don't get your money.
Wow.
So most of them are all or nothing. There are a couple, I think, where you can do where you do keep the money, but most of them are all or nothing. So you can get non-equity and you can get equity crowdfunding sites. So like Crowdcube, for example, is an equity crowdfunding. So
Okay.
basically people give you money in return for a very small amount of equity. So there's a couple of nuances there, but it's a lot of work. You have to build a big community. So you have to build big social media support. You have to build big email lists, newsletter, etc. And I wasn't really getting that. And even the crowdfunding campaigns themselves, when you build up to it for like 4 weeks, and then you're live 4 to 6 weeks, then you're live for a month, and it's very intense because you have to like reply to every single person that's asking you a question or giving you a pledge.
Wow.
So it was just a lot of effort. And I was at the same time, I put my pitch up on an angel investment network, and an investor contacted me, and we've basically been in discussion ever since, basically. So he hasn't
Brilliant.
committed yet. He's 99% sure. It's been a long pre-seed round. But once the app is in the App Store and live, the investment should be there.
Yeah.
So that's that's that side of things.
That's
The
really
reason
cool.
I took out a loan and put my own personal money in is just to protect my equity. So I don't want to give away. I had a very maximum of 20% at pre-seed level, pre-seed stage, maximum 15, but ideally 10 and no more. And I got 10% equity in exchange for cash, and I didn't want to give away anymore.
Okay, that's very cool. And so I suppose, looking at this from someone who might be listening to the story and listening to your journey and be inspired to develop something similar, let's call it a behavioral change software, like essentially a SaaS in a way, or a program that helps with behavior change and helps people accomplish things, or do something different in their life that's a big problem for them, and overcome that problem. What have you kind of learned about this space that's like crucial to success?
Do your market research.
Okay.
So obviously I've got personal experience of going through it myself, so I know a bit about what worked, but that was only personal for me. So if you're looking at putting behavioral changes into an app, for example, you need to know about psychology, and you need to know about the user psychology. So what's specific to your market. So my app, for example, uses things like CBT and mindfulness techniques, and some other techniques. But do your market research. Now, I have been incredibly lucky in that I've had it done for me.
Okay.
There are actually scientific papers out there that have analyzed quit vaping apps. They have analyzed even things like, with a pinch of salt, 50,000 posts on the top Reddit
Wow.
forum, which has got 60,000 people in it, seeing what are they talking about, what's the top topics, what's the top barriers for them quitting, what are they fearful of. So they've done it from a user's perspective point of view, but they've also done it from a formal psychological perspective, saying, oh, well, this app is missing CBT techniques. That's the gold standard for helping with this. For example, someone develops symptoms of depression, well, CBT is the gold standard. Why is it not in the app? So you've got your user analysis, and you also got your professional analysis. So the more professional has also looked at things like, is it GDPR compliant? Is there privacy there? So one of the things, for example, was my app developer, they put in for the password 8 letters. One of them has to be a special character. Well, if you actually look at the GDPR, and I forget the other one now, what's it called?
I can't remember either.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They're the ones to do with privacy.
Yeah.
It has to be 10 characters long, and you don't have to encourage the use of a special character.
Okay.
So things like that. So, but then that might pee off a few people. Why am I putting in the freaking? Why are you making me do this? So then, just like if you were to go onto through a Google web page, for example, I just scoped it off of that. There's lots of things like, why are we asking this? Like, what's this question for? If you click on it, and just the pop-up will come up, and it's a simple explanation. So if it's asking you something like that, and they only have to do it one off, it remembers it, and this is only an MVP as well, because when we build, I'm going to be developing just single-click logins for Facebook, Google, and Apple.
Yeah.
So that reduces user friction. So anything that it makes it easier for them, just click is
much easier.
So yeah,
that's beautiful. And so what a cheat code to just be able to have all of this research already done for you. All of the market
when I
research.
found it, it was like beautiful. So so I've recently discovered, I don't know how long it's been there for, but and I've got a pro subscription for ChatGPT, but AI agent mode. It's
fantastic. I've done so much market research in different areas. Just the deep research function, just pulling up the right websites, pulling up the right articles. It's really good. And then, I mean, human verify it, but like it cuts the job down so much.
So I always human verify it, but it just so there's the deep research function, and then there's the AI agent function. And it shows you the sort of virtual computer screen, and then clicking on various. That's where I got it from.
Amazing.
And the other thing is an absolute life time saver is talking it. Do just audio into
instead of typing.
Right, because my prompts and questions could be like 3 paragraphs long.
Yeah.
So that's a lifesaver as well. If anyone's still typing like I was a couple of weeks ago, talk into it.
It's so much faster. I even get it to build its own prompt. So I ask it to assume the role of somebody and build a prompt for the deep research, and then I run the deep research. It's pretty cool. If somebody wants a copy of that, like, I'm happy to share it. Just put it in the comments, and we can kind of look at that. Very cool. The last thing I want to kind of talk about is like the deeper journey of you as a founder. Um, how has that kind of progressed? And I know that life has its ups and downs, and there's been lots going on. How do you manage that? What gets in the way? What's worked well for you?
So I'm a solo founder. So as the journey's gone on, it's got a lot more difficult as, I look to expand and to scale, even though I haven't even launched yet. I've already got ideas of, say, B2B sectors and that I can expand into, and I've already got interest from them. I've already got C-suite level senior advisors telling me that, for example, someone who's worked in the insurance sector for 30 years with major players like Vitality and Bupa and things like that, that you're onto something here. So it's exciting, but at the same time, it's hard to keep everything in check. So I think project management is the most difficult thing, because distractions as well. One of the things that I'm doing after this call actually is I'm hiring a VA, so to do my administrative tasks and organize a CRM for me so I don't lose leads, and just take away, apparently they can reduce your time spent by 60% by doing menial tasks. So I think as my journey's gone along, it's trying to keep up with the, for want of a better term, basic things like SEO for my website, so doing regular blog posts and identifying keywords. I have a social media manager, luckily, for TikTok, but I do some of my own stuff for Instagram and Facebook. So doing that sort of stuff. But then you've got the higher priority tasks, which is developing the packages, as I call them, because basically I'm going to license all my products and services. So the app, the book that I've written, the online course that I've got, do things like corporate workshops. I'm going to develop some lessons for the curriculum for schools as well to do with vaping. Package all of that into license. So then I can run some pilots in each of those individual verticals, get some feedback, get some data, and then go out and sell it. So it's kind of like I've got a lot of advisors, and they're like, trying to. Sometimes I get a bit. It can be a bit overwhelming. I'll be completely honest, when you've got all these,
opportunities everywhere.
Opportunities. Trying to do them all at once, and all these advisors are saying, "Have you done this yet? Have you done that yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't," because I am the ops, marketing, the sales, and my funding at the moment is until I get this grant is limited. So I do actually have a really good graphic designer that does some of that sort of stuff for me. But yeah, it's just trying to do everything at once, and it can be a bit like, for example, I was on a call with an advisor about the app. Then I've got a LinkedIn Live with you. Then I've got a call with the VA. Then I've got a call with someone from the Oxford Hill accelerator. And then this evening I've got a podcast with someone in the US that, again, my PR team got me. An ADHD coach. She's in like the top 2% of Spotify podcast. Wow. Full stop. So it's like I'm going a bit here, there, and everywhere, and my brain isn't really focused on one task. And I would say a piece of advice for everyone, not just founders, and I'm sure a lot of people do this already, but distraction-free mode. If I've got my emails open or even my WhatsApp open and something comes in, I'm quick to respond where I shouldn't. I should leave it and prioritize, because if you respond quickly to everyone, then they think
They expect it.
they're expecting
Yeah.
so that's not a good thing.
Mm.
And alongside that, you've got to balance your personal life as well, so
Yeah.
you're trying to fit in your personal life. And I've got a dog, for example, so after he's outside, because I didn't want him to bark during other things, so I'm gonna have to walk him after this,
Yeah.
come back for my meeting, so it can get quite hectic. And one thing I would really, really emphasize is you have to be aware of your own health and your own mental health and signs of burnout, and pick up on them early, learn about them and pick up on them early before they develop into something more. I've been there before, not with this, but I've been there before, not full burnout with this anyway, and it's not a pretty place to be. So you have to really prioritize your own health and that of your family, and business comes second to that. So if things aren't if you're becoming overwhelmed, can you delegate? Can you outsource? If you've got a team, so really try and keep an eye on your own personal health is the one thing that I would say put right at the top of the priority list.
Yeah, really a matter of like creating those systems and those structures in place so that you can keep going. Really, really common, and especially kind of, I suppose, especially in the early days when you're still also working clinically, you kind of, the days you're clinical, you just don't have headspace to think about your business and your work. And then, so it's like 2 or 3 days gone there, and you come back, you're like, oh my God, where did I leave things? And unless you've got a system to drop it down somewhere and pick it up from, it becomes really, really hard. And then, you're just constantly catching up. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's such an important bit
Yeah,
of the journey and the founder's journey to see what works.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think it's really important. I think especially in places like LinkedIn, you'll see all the upsides. People will be posting about they're like the big growth and the big wins, and half of it's fake. Like I think we're all of an intelligence that we know that is. So I think it's important that people realize it's not all rosy, and without being pessimistic towards myself or anyone else, the fact is that 70% of startups fail. That is fact. Do you see 70% of LinkedIn about people failing? No, you don't. People are ashamed of sharing that. There's nothing to be ashamed about. People can actually pick up and learn. And okay, what went wrong for that person? Am I doing the same thing? But no, people are just posting all this wins, which, as I said, I saw one the other day. It was I just literally pissed myself. Someone had posted a typical engagement bait post. They said, I set up 3 SaaS companies, and within 90 days, I was generating $500,000 AR. And I just commented, you do know what AR means. How can you have developed
in 90 days
500,000 annual recurring revenue in 90 days? You haven't even hit one annum, let alone recurring. And of course, at the bottom, it was connect with me. I'll share the playbook. It's just like, it's nonsense like that. It's like, it just doesn't need, there's no place for it. It should just be a transparent platform where people should share and share wins and losses transparently, and learn from each other and help each other out and do business. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping that this is one of those little tiny spaces where people can come and hear what it's actually like and what it's actually about. So I really appreciate you kind of sharing both the wins and the lessons and the struggles and the pains of actually growing into something meaningful and valuable. And there's this constant tension where you're like, this is working, this is going somewhere. Like people are saying this is good, but then at the same time, you're like, there's so many struggles and pains and losses and aches. And it's just like, how do you battle through that is essentially like being a founder. So it's super exciting to have you back again, Mark, and talk to us through all of that. Really, really excited. I suppose we'll bring you back for episode 42 and see where that goes, because season 3 is going to start up in Jan.
Okay.
And
Well,
we'll
Apple will still be doing whatever Apple are doing in season 43. So I need to sign my license agreement off.
Oh yeah. So what's on the cards for you for 2026?
2026. So after the app was launched, as I said, it's an MVP, and I've got some big plans for the first 3 months to get it up to full version. So V1, let's call it. So things like heavily gamifying it, including it actually putting a custom built game in it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even some virtual reality in it as well.
Wow.
And an AI chatbot where they can chat, but there are human therapists. So building the app up to V1 and constantly looking at all the analytics and feedback that we're getting. And then I think expanding into, I can't go into all 4 B2B sectors that I've got, which is like corporates, schools, insurers, and like start with private healthcare and private mental health and addiction clinics. Like I just can't do it all at once. So I think just picking one of those verticals to focus on, which would probably be the corporates, because they've obviously got the most money, and I've got the evidence to show them about how using my services, even a 10% reduction in their vaping rate can give them a significant ROI on the fee that I would charge them. I think it is probably be the easiest vertical to start in, but schools as well is important to me. I think then trying to raise again, so that I really would like a team actually, hire. So going through a seed round once I've got my analytics and data and all the KPIs, etc. I've got something which a further investor may be interested in and giving me some more money that I can hire. So that would be my dream at the moment as I'm working in the hours. So that is hopefully on the cards for 2026. Expanding into the US market, tough nut to crack, but I can go by Canada, and I've already got interest from some private healthcare clinics in Canada. So Canada. If I get into America, and if I capture even a proportion of the American market in what I'm doing, I'll be doing quite well. And then lastly, I don't know if this is going to happen in 2026 or not, but to get a WHO accolade for my app, which isn't as difficult as you think it might be.
Okay.
So the leading, sorry, I should say, not the best, it may not be the best, but the leading quit smoking app called Quit has got a WHO accolade.
Okay.
And again, I did some research into what you have to do to get it. So you have to publish a peer-reviewed paper on just case control on the app. There's even a specific paper called Digital Apps, I think it's called, which they accept.
Oh, wow.
Then they look at the app themselves. They look at the main features, like I said before, making sure it's GDPR compliant, privacy, data protection, but it conforms to the main features, like I mentioned, like CBT practices, and all the gold standard psychological things, behavioral changes. And then once who have done that, you can potentially get an accolade. So
That's brilliant.
get that stamp on there. Would be more. It would be big for obviously the brand and my business, but I think that one would be more about like the pride thing for me. Like that would be more about
Like a landmark.
like, excuse my language, shit, but I've been on a long journey here, and now I've got this award from one of the leading literally leading
World Health Organization. Yeah.
organizations. So that would be more about I'd sit back and just think the hard work has been worth it.
Yeah, well, I'm rooting for you, and if not 2026, 2027, and I can
Yeah.
see it coming. It'll be fantastic, and the change you're making is going to go a long way. I love having people like you, the impact-driven clinician, really making a change in the world. So super excited, and thanks once again for bringing an honest journey to this podcast and inspiring all our listeners. And I think on that note, I'm going to say that's it for today's episode. A massive thanks again to Dr. Marc Picot for sharing his journey so openly and reminding us that progress isn't always linear, but it's always meaningful. If Mark's story resonated with you, don't forget to follow or subscribe to the Clinician Founder podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you're listening, and share this episode with a colleague who's building something of their own. If you're serious about building traction with your own idea or innovation, remember that doors are open for the Clinician Founder Actionship, the structured group coaching program that helps clinicians replace one clinical day's income through their non-clinical work with clarity, systems, and accountability. Now, make sure to join us also on the 11th of November at 2:15 for the next live podcast, where I'll be speaking with the incredible Dr. Tessa Davis, an emergency physician, educator, and founder of the ACO Consultant Interview Academy. We'll be exploring how she's turned her clinical and teaching expertise into a thriving academy while still working clinically as well, and what you can learn from her journey. A massive thanks to Dr. Akash Rajayan for the intro music of this podcast. Check out his work on Spotify and SoundCloud. Until then, keep building, stay bold, and remember, you have the power to create something extraordinary. See you later.